They're images that define Venice, which has been nicknamed the floating city. But what causes the city to flood? The flooding has a name. It's called the Acqua Alta, which translates to high waters. It occurs from late September and can last through April. And the most famous place to experience the floods is St. Mark's Square. It's one of the lowest areas in the city, so it floods more frequently. But Venetians are inventive. When floods occur, the city adapts. Elevated walkways are built across the city, and shop owners use floodgates and pumps to keep water out. Hotels continue running, shops remain open, and even marathons are still held. It doesn't stop tourists from visiting the floating city either.
Before, climate scientists warned that Venice, Italy, is drowning. Man's most beautiful artifact, built on millions of pylons in the middle of a lagoon, may be vanishing before our eyes. The periodic floods of Venice have become more threatening and more frequent. This past November, a sudden storm surge overwhelmed nearly 90% of the city. Climate scientists say what happened that night exactly 2 months ago in Venice is a warning to the world of what's to come. And not just in Venice. Ever since the 5th century, Venice has depended on the water for survival. This improbable Italian city, knit together between islands, used water as a barrier against invaders to become a jewel of the world. Then came the night of November 12th. Streets ran like rivers. Squares became swimming pools. It was Venice's second highest tide ever recorded, more than 6 feet above sea level. Wind from a storm barreling up the Adriatic Sea accelerated from 6 miles an hour to 70 in less than 15 minutes. When the surge was over, the destruction totaled $1 billion. But it wasn't just one flood. For days in November, Venetians woke to the sound of tones warning of more record-breaking tides. Venice has always been vulnerable. The city is also slowly sinking. But the water is rising higher and more frequently. 3 of the 8 highest tides in Venice's recorded history occurred just in November. This is becoming the new normal. And waterlogged Venetians wonder how much more this ancient city can take.
The frequency, it's like an earthquake. When there are too many, then it means something is happening. I see it as an opportunity to wake up the world.
These extreme events are damaging many of Venice's masterpieces, like the 900-year-old Basilica of St. Mark, known as the Church of Gold. Its marble floors were swamped on November 12th, and downstairs water buried the crypt for only the 2nd time ever. The water receded but left behind salt, which Italians call the cancer because it eats away at mosaics and foundations. This past November, Venice nearly lost another of its gems.
This is the most beautiful theater all around the world.
At La Fenice, where Verdi debuted his operas La Traviata and Rigoletto,
when people look at Venice and what is happening in Venice, more floods, faster and higher, what message should they take for the rest of the world?
Oh, the rest of the world should take the message that this is what the situation is going to look like in many places that they live in. Venice is just, you know, as everybody says, the canary in the coal mine. It's happening there now. Sea level is rising almost everywhere on Earth. Not only is sea level rising, the rise is accelerating. It's happening faster and faster.
How much faster is that pace quickened?
So by the year 2050, which is only 30 years into the future, many places around the world, including in the US, are going to experience the historical once-in-a-100-year flood level once a year or more frequently. Let me repeat that. An event that used to cause severe flooding once a century, we're going to get that same water level once a year.
What cities are we talking about?
Places like Los Angeles, San Diego, Key West, Miami, Jacksonville, Savannah, Honolulu.
That the seasonal high tides known as Acqua Altas are getting worse.
So how many days a year was it planned that Moses would be used?
Say an average of 10 days a year.
This has been a Cincinnati production. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos. If you'd like to support the channel, links are in the description.